The Working Artist Project is brought to you by Second Line Arts. Learn how you can support at secondlinearts.org.
We're creating a platform for those who are curious, one that tells the story from the artist's perspective. Moments in time, captured from the innovators who are reshaping dance, music, theater, and the visual arts. This is the Working Artist Project.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. My name is Darrian Douglas, and we are here once again. Tonight, it's just me and Greg celebrating our 100th show. Gregory, Agid, what's happening, baby? How you feeling, man?
Yeah, I'm doing really, really well. Darren, I can't believe we made 100 episodes.
100 episodes. It's about 3 or 4 years in the making. We took a break in the middle, but we did it, man.
Dude, congratulations.
Thank you, bro. I think it's somewhere actually around 103 because there's like 3 unpublished episodes for various reasons that we won't get into here. But
I'm actually very interested. Maybe we should get into it.
Nah. I'm gonna leave what they say, let dead dogs lie or lay or something like that, right? That's what they say.
Oh my God. I think I learned that in 5th or 6th grade, if I was to be lie or lay, and I still don't know.
Okay, cool. Well, before we get into the show, we want to encourage everybody to go to secondlinearts.org and sign up for our newsletter where Gregory and I once a week give $1 trillion ideas. $1 trillion idea, Greg. That's what we do, baby.
And I really appreciate the compounding value of the newsletter too, because when we started this newsletter maybe a month ago or 2 months ago,
right,
it was $1,000, $100 ideas, and a month later we got $1 trillion ideas.
Yeah, bro, it's like Ethereum, man. It's like Ethereum, today.
What is going on with that? It's at $2,000 or $3,500 right now.
No, now I wish I would have bought it, like more of it when it was like $300 or whatever it was when I first got it.
It was at 2,000 maybe 5 or 6 days ago, and I was like, man, okay, I'm gonna wait till it drops down again before I buy some, and it has not dropped since then.
Yeah, my next buy move is 3,000. So I'm like, all right, I think we're gonna ride this little wave, and it's gonna drop down. We can get some more of it,
It's got to. I feel like the cryptos are they ride that wave. They go up, they come down, and people forget about it. Then they go back up.
Yeah, it's a vibe, man. So yeah, man, tonight, you know what I want to do, man? I kind of want to go back in time and talk about some of the people who we had on at the very beginning. And I made this playlist. And so if you're watching this, I'll link the playlist here in a second, but you can kind of go to Spotify and check out our Working Artist Project artist playlist, where you can listen to music from all the artists who've been on the show so far. You know what I mean?
And I'm actually, I was not originally part of the maybe the first 50 or so episodes, and that was kind of a thing Darrian was doing. And I am always amazed looking back at the people we have been able to talk to, the people you've talked to and the people that you and I have both talked to. And it's quite an incredible roster of musicians, I have to say.
Yeah, I would say it like this. There's a lot of bad motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? I'll let you
I try not to curse since I'm like a high school teacher these days, but God damn, there's some bad motherfuckers.
Yeah, I think the first person I ever interviewed was I think it was either, I can't remember, but I think it was either Jonathan Michelle or Christopher McBride. It was one of the two of them at my first. You can see it on YouTube, man. It's pretty awkward, but you gotta go back and check out all 100 shows, because it's funny, because right now we have about 2,000 people listening to this plus a month, and yeah, man. So they out here with us, Greg.
Man, I think that's a testament to the idea that sometimes it takes years for a project to really begin to blossom. And something that, through my experience as a musician, I've found that a lot of my peers and even myself, we'll put 3, 4, 5, 6 months into a project and feel that it's not going anywhere. And a lot of times that will be the point at which we call it like, hey, after 6, 7 months, I'm going to change the band. 6, 7 months, I'm going to go
Right.
to a different idea. But I think this is really a testament to the idea that sometimes it takes years for something to catch on. And man, I think we're on the right track. Who knows where things will go after this too.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. So what we want to do also, for the few people who are on here listening to us too, if you got some questions, anything you want to know about me or Greg, what size shoes we wear, anything about the music, put the questions in the comments, and maybe we'll even shoot you a link. You can get on here with us and get in the vibe with us. But man, why don't I play? I want to play something real quick. It's gonna be, this is like listening to music with friends 101. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, okay. So you weren't here for this, but I had this lady on. Her name was Kathleen Potton, and she's quite she's a beast, man. I want to play a few seconds of her song. Here we go.
Lower your guard. Why's gone before you start? Slow down, play hard. Know when you've gone too far. Confession's your card. When there's a will to learn, desire this part. Can't stop, you've gone too far. You're always preaching the answers. You're always playing the fool. Offering only maybe. In the end, it's only you who whispered it once. I heard a loud and clear. You're out of time. The red line is all to me. Enraged by the fight. Know when you play touch. Fueled by the fire's heart.
I just want to give y'all a little taste of that, man. Like we had so many like great artists who are all very different. And, for me, she was special because I like would check her out around the city and stuff and see her playing all the time. Like, man, I want to play with her, man. I never got a chance to, but at least we got to hang on the show. And at that time, in the before time, Greg, if you could believe it or not, I was like going to people's houses or they come to my house and we like hang out and I had my little portable recorder, bring a camera, and it was a vibe, man.
It was funny because you started playing that, and I was like, "Man, did the song just skip, or is there like a measure of 3 in there?"
Oh no, that was me. I hit play twice on accident.
No, but I think there's a measure in 3 on somewhere in that.
Right.
That was super hip.
Yeah, it's a vibe, man. So
Yeah.
who are one of your favorites?
Man, who are one of my favorites? I think the thing that I don't like picking favorites, and sorry, I hate to be diplomatic and not make a choice like that.
Uh-huh.
But I think what's been really hip is having the opportunity to talk to people that people that you've seen around, people you've seen in magazines, people you've listened to, cats like Lakeisha Benjamin,
Yeah.
or even like people who are here in New Orleans, like Morgan Stewart. We got Alan Dejan on. We have all these cats who just live in so many different spaces within the industry and have such a wonderful experience and perspective to share. And it's been very humbling to have an opportunity to talk to everyone and kind of hear the similarities within their experiences and also the differences in perspective and experiences.
Yeah. For me, like it's interesting that's a good point because for me, it's like we're doing two things. We're documenting history, and also every once a week we have an opportunity to learn something from an artist that is doing something different than what we're doing. And that's like that's the cheat codes, man. Y'all think y'all on here. We get to hang out with these people every week after week, and some of y'all are here with us too. So we all out here learning together. You know what I mean?
The real cheat code is, was it up, up, down, down, left, left, right, right, BA, select, start?
Back B.
Yeah.
Hey
Oh
man,
man.
you old, bro. You old, man. You old as
I,
shit, bro.
I feel like you have to be born pre 95 to even know what that is.
That's right. Hey, if you'd have had that what was Nintendo, like the original Nintendo or Atari, remember Atari? See, I was
Oh
born.
man, that might be the difference between you and me right there.
That original Nintendo, that Sega, you don't really know nothing about cheat codes, man. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
But you said something. You said something a little bit earlier. You mentioned something about. Oh my God, what did you mention? Oh, I can't. It's just completely slipped my mind now. But you said documenting the process, right?
Yeah,
And that's been a very humbling way of thinking about doing things like this, and it's always gotten me through self-doubt and wishing things were better than they were, and just kind of like approaching every project as a documentation of the moment rather than
absolutely.
wishing that it was the completed project right then and there.
Yeah. I mean, man, like trust me, dog. Like go back and look at like episode 5. Like go check it out. It's on YouTube, man. Like we come a long way, man. We ain't had these fancy graphics, man. I was in my room with no AC in the summertime talking to people sweating. It was it was a complete vibe, man. But we
It was
made it.
funny. Even last week we got I got a big compliment from Nick Jacobson, Olaf Jacobson Larson, who was a great film composer, but joined us last week, and he texted me, he's like, man, you and Darrian are really good interviewers and have a great flow, and it's funny because you and I have been doing this for maybe the last 6 or 7 months every
Right,
Monday,
right.
and it was definitely not a good flow the first couple of weeks.
You know what it's like, man? It's like when you first start dating a girl.
Oh, here we go. No, you pay.
You know, it's like that first time you try to make gumbo, it ain't quite right. But that sixth time, it's gonna be all right, man.
But you got to work it out, and that's the cool thing about the documentation process too. Is I think something that's really beautiful is in fact being able to go to episode 5, go to episode 20, 40, 60, 80, and hear the progress. Right, the key word here is progress,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I feel like in all of these ventures that you and I have, taken on together and individually also, progress is always the goal.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But I'm gonna play something else because I'm thinking about progress, and I got a friend who was on the show. I don't know if you know him, Greg. His name is Sean Cronin, and he's got this band called Very Good. And
Hmm.
and so tonight I'm gonna play a couple selections from people who are just completely different. And this is Sean Cronin. This is it.
This is it. Oh, this is it. I don't have much. I don't have much. What you see is what you get. I only have what you can touch. I only have what you can touch.
See, man, so many like I don't know. It's to me, it's just amazing how much. It's only 12 notes, right? And like when you go through this playlist, everybody's vibe and everybody's energy is so different. And
And Sean is a bass player, correct?
yeah. Sean's a bass player. Yep.
Yeah, it's funny
He's
because
a
I guess I first became familiar with Sean through your work with Bria,
Yep. Bria
and
Scomber.
the couple times I've heard him play, it's not been anything like that, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
actually.
But see, you know the funny thing is, man, like when as a side person, I can tell you that it's very rare that you get to be yourself in somebody else's band. So you don't really see into a person's soul until you hear the music that they wrote.
Hmm.
And so to me, Sean is a genius. And like you got to go to his show to really appreciate what he is because he's a true creative. Like he creates a masterpiece of like it's theater really, bro. You gotta go check it out. Next time you're in New York, look Sean Cronin up and make sure you go see what he dealing with, man.
Oh,
It's
that's
next
killing.
level. It's next level.
Is Sean still playing with Bria? I mean, is anyone
No,
still playing
no,
with Bria?
no one's playing. No one's playing with anybody at this point. You know, we are. It seems like we're at the end of Corona. You know, which is a whole nother thing that I think that we could talk about because we kind of documented our lives and other people's lives in the midst of this great tragedy. You know that we're still all living through, and I think it for me personally, it really put life into perspective because I had never not played music since the fifth grade every day. And so for the first time in my life, I took a break from the drums and it's been I've had a lot to talk to my therapist about. Let's just say that.
So after taking a year off of playing, what did you learn?
1 year off of playing, I learned that I can do other things other than play music because for me, my identity was tied to music. You know, it's like okay, I am a drum. You know what I'm saying? Like everything I do, I live, breathe. I think we are all like that. We live and breathe our art. And when you have to take a break from it, you learn how to create in different ways.
Totally.
So yeah.
That's a hard. It's a. I feel like it's a common thought or feeling a lot of artists have is the closeness between the creation of the art and who you are as a person.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of us, a lot of us go through life feeling that when our art is doing well, we are doing well, and when our
Right.
art is not successful, we are not successful as people.
Right. Right.
Which in fact, is that's one way of thinking about it, but sometimes it doesn't lead to the most productive and healthy thoughts in our heads.
Yeah. It's funny because I think the next step for all of us is to figure out if we want to go backwards,
Hmm.
sideways, forward, or if we want to stand still. And I see a lot of people running backwards. Just meaning like, are we in your career, are you gonna like take the next step and not do the things you were doing before because you had a break in time to think about the things that were working and the things that weren't working?
Yeah.
So if go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's totally true, and I think that's why the idea of education, on a very broad level, I think the value of education again is expanding. The purpose of a well-rounded education is to expand who you are and show you the possibilities that life would not have shown you prior to receiving those ideas or thoughts.
Oh yeah, where you get that education? Because you ain't get it in nobody's school, not in America.
Yeah, but maybe not. I don't know. But that's the thing with sometimes we run back to what we know because we don't know that there are other possibilities.
Hmm. Or we like imagination. Which one is it?
Oh man, that's actually that's a deep question, and that's a scary question to ask to an artist, right? Like, why are we running back to the same thing? It's because we lack imagination. Oh no.
Right. Yeah. No, it's just something to really think about. And it's hard for all of us because it's easy to do what you were doing, but it's difficult to step into the unknown.
That's like a Herbie Hancock thing. You gotta step into the unknown.
Yeah. All right, Herbie said that. Man, fuck Herbie. No, I'm just playing. I love Herbie.
I think there's a whole. This is something I try to tell to all my students all the time. The idea of creativity is complete bullshit. And what I mean by that is someone has walked the path before you and has left a trail, and you just need to figure out what that trail is. You may not be aware of it, but it doesn't mean that you're creating something that hasn't existed, right? Like, again, we're talking about the same 12 notes. Well, maybe Stravinsky put the 12 notes in a certain way, and then Herbie Hancock heard those notes and played it in a different context. And people will hear that and say something like, oh my God, Herbie created this, Herbie innovated this. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Herbie's genius, because he is a true master of this
Absolutely.
art. But that also, I think, dispels the myth of like having to create something out of nothing. Sometimes we just have to look to the past and see the work that other people have done and adapt it to the times.
Yeah, I can get with that. I can get with that for sure. No, it's interesting, man. I think we all at this point coming out of coronavirus, we just have to have a little bit of faith
Totally.
and imagination, because I mean, as a community, especially as a community of musicians, because if we all go back to playing music for a certain price, or playing music in certain situations that aren't spiritually gratifying, then I can go be a banker, dog. Like I can go be upset, being a banker, and maybe you should just do that instead. Like instead, if you're just gonna complain or
But that's the cool thing about too, like again, an opportunity like the podcast to get to see how many people make the dream work. There's not one
Yep.
way of doing it. Like, like
Absolutely.
your mentor Al Fielder, he was not a full-time musician. He was a pharmacist
Yeah.
and an investor.
Yeah, he was free, but he allowed his day job to give him the freedom to choose the art that he created. So everybody's got their own story, man. So we gotta follow our own hearts.
And I think that's where the creativity comes in, is like, you take a piece. If you were to take one little piece of information from all 100 of our guests, you would actually piece together something completely unique.
Yeah, I think the one thing I've learned from interviewing all of these people is to always lean into who you are, like meaning be fearless in being yourself, because I think that's where the truth is. Like that's where the sauce is at.
That's where the sauce is at.
The sauce is at, bro. I'm about to play this dude right here. We all know who he is, and he a bad boy, and he is totally who he's himself. How about that?
Hey, y'all want to go down and have a mellow good time? Oh yeah, let's have a mellow good time. Whoa, no. No. When evening shadows fall and the sun no longer shines, we're gonna get together. We're gonna have a mellow good time. We're gonna have a mellow good time. Let's go. We're gonna rock the mat at the Happy Jacks. Won't stay too long, or we'll be moving on. Open up the city, cover up the town. We're gonna ride the pony, yeah, all around. Here we go now. Go.
Bruh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's beautiful,
insane, man. That's insane.
Oh no, I said we're gonna have a mellow good time. We're gonna have a mellow good time.
All right, I can't take it no more. Dog. That's crazy.
But what's okay? Something that I love. So for those of you listening, that's the great Jameson Ross, wonderful
Absolutely.
vocalist, incredible drummer. And I remember when Jameson went to do the Thelonious Monk drum competition, and we were both doing our masters over at UNO, and we were in a combo together with a great teacher, great guitar player here in New Orleans named Brian Seeger. And before Jameson left, he did this in class in front of everyone, and he was like, "Jameson, just be yourself and you will win." Right? And he won. And I think what's interesting, and the competition that year, there were some incredible drummers that placed second and third. And again, with a competition like that, anyone can place second, third. The talent and the musicianship is there on many levels. But Jameson was himself, and he was completely unique as a drummer. I don't think the competition had ever seen a drummer that was like also a fantastic vocalist that played with so much soul.
Yep. Yeah, he brings the vibe, man, wherever he is. The thing I love about Jameson is he always makes the people around him feel important. Like every time I hang with Jay, I'm like, I feel great. Like, and you remember that. Like you
Dude,
always remember that. It's like you remember, like Oprah said, you always remember how people make you feel.
dude, that is so spot on.
Yeah.
Just to kind of also dig into that Jameson story, part of the thing that with the Thelonious Monk competition is, when you win, you get a record deal. And, from what I understand, I don't want to speak for Jameson here, but from the way I understand the story going down is that they wanted him to create a jazz record.
Mm.
And Jameson was very adamant about wanting to create his record, where he was singing his music.
Absolutely.
And I think that, that's a great example of being true to yourself and not letting others dictate what you should do.
Yep.
And, I guess he's working on his third record now, 2 and 3 records later, Jameson has really, not only is he a great jazz drummer, but he's a great solo artist with his own sound and style.
Yeah. If you're just joining us, we're kind of just having a conversation about previous guests. This is our 100th show. We're playing some excerpts of their albums and reminiscing how they made us feel. So right now we're talking about Jameson Ross.
Man, that cat.
I want to go to another drummer, man. And I don't think Shirzad Tenen. I can't remember. I don't think you were here, but she wrote this song, man, and it's beautiful and it's heartbreaking. And I think that out of every song on this playlist, I can feel exactly what she was going through. And it's called Cards That Life Can Deal.
I know you said you were calling, but I thought I should call you first. But it's getting close. The time to get ready to leave. So I'm going to the home. Okay? And we love you. We miss you too. Tennis, tennis, right when the hot this long calling me good night to you and Tony. Thank you, Ron. This is Paul. I'm calling to let you know that Dad is going to go to the hospital tonight. He's over at Alabama Street. And I'm not really good. Call me back if you get this message, okay? Call me back.
He looks, she smiles, love shines through. She looks, he smiles, Daddy's little girl. Wipe your tears, child, God will heal. That's what he says to Daddy's little girl. Don't worry now, life goes on. That's what he says to Daddy's little girl. He's gonna fight. He's gonna make it through. This can't take his life. Oh, what would Mama do? No, it's not fair. No, it's not right. The cards that life can deal to you. He looks, she smiles, love shines through. She looks, he smiles, Daddy's little girl. Don't worry now, life goes on. That's what he says to Daddy.
Yeah, man, it's probably like the most honest thing, to be that vulnerable. That's the other thing when you create an art. It's like you have to be the most open to really create something beautiful. And she did that. Sherazad's a drummer, by the way. And she really killed that one, man.
Did she write the lyrics to that also?
I'm not sure if she wrote the lyrics. I'm not sure. I have to ask her. But this is one of her newer songs. So
Man,
she
gorgeous.
Years ago. Yeah. Yeah, man. Check her out, man. Shirazad Tenen.
Shirazad Tenen.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's just really incredible to see just again the diversity of what people create with the same 12 notes, right? Everyone sat through music theory class and then like Mixolydian has a flat 7 and and you're gonna make sure you want to play this Mixolydian flat 9, flat 13 over a minor chord going
Oh,
to whatever,
jeez.
so, but then it's and then when when you leave that years later, you get music that sounds totally different. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah. 'Cause they can't teach music in school, man. That's a mirage, man. That's some bullshit, in my opinion. Hit me up, man. Email me if you think I'm wrong, man.
I have no comment as a school teacher. I believe,
Oh,
you
okay.
know, again, yeah, this, studying music in school can only bring you so far. It can bring you, it can show you the way, but you got to live it to really create.
I went to school, Greg, but I didn't learn nothing about music in school.
That's because you got a business degree. Yeah, no, that's true though. I do agree with your point totally.
Yeah.
So how do you go about creating music though? When you've put in your 4 years and got a bachelor's in music, did your master's, got a doctorate, how do you make music?
You don't pull out your degree. I can tell you that. No, man, you gotta use your life experiences, man. Like
Yeah.
like it's almost like you can't really even play music if you ain't never been in love. It's like if you never even experienced the highest highs and the lowest lows of life, then what are you actually doing?
Yeah.
Like, look at any art, man. You think Michelangelo and fucking Van Gogh and all these fucking Mozart and all these dudes, you think, Alvin Baptiste, you think he could have created some shit if he didn't go through some real life turmoil and happiness?
Well, that's debatable. So I'll say this. I think you and I both started this organization because we wanted to dispel certain myths of being an artist.
Uh,
So I do agree with you that a lot of people do use that as their source of inspiration for creation. But sometimes it's people's jobs. Like Bach, it was his job to write music. Like every week he was preparing for a new mass. And this dude was just turning out music every week. And I don't even think he even knew probably what he was composing. He was just turning out so many compositions.
yeah.
And so there's a certain, I think one of the beautiful things about this whole experience is how personal the relationship that you have with your art is. Some people are creating out of that place of pain and using it as a way to overcome the reality of life. But some people are also creating because it's their job. Michelangelo was getting paid a lot of money to put that stuff on the walls.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is all creation comes from the experience of life, not only just pain,
Yes.
but the whole experience. Whether you're getting paid for it or not, man. Shit, I done got paid a lot of money to do a little bit of drumming before, but I wasn't like dumbing my shit down just because somebody wanted to give me money for it. I was like, oh, I appreciate that. Now I can
How
pay some rent.
Man, after all the drums you can play, how many times have you like looked at a paycheck and you'd be like, man, that was the easiest gig I've ever had, and I can't believe I've made that much money.
Yeah. Like I remember one time he told me, he was like, man, back when I was like really doing a thing and it was a struggle. Nobody wanted to pay me. I'm playing all day, all night. But now people want to pay me. I barely get warmed up. And I was like, yeah, you you play for 45 minutes, like, okay, thanks. And they give you thousands of dollars. And it's, it's pretty interesting how this thing works, man.
This whole industry is very paradoxical in that way, where it's like, again, man, sometimes I've definitely, I've played gigs that it takes me 3 weeks to learn the tune, and I walk off the bandstand with like $20.
That's right.
And there are other gigs that like you walk up on and it's the easiest music you've ever played, and you making bank on it. And I think it's really the experience, going back to what you're talking about, experience, and I think where the music education in general fails is that the teachers don't have, you can't teach something you don't know,
Hmm.
and you can't teach someone an experience that you haven't had. And if you're going to be a music teacher, and this is to everyone listening to this podcast, all music teachers and all that shit, you need to be a musician in order to teach music. And
Funny concept.
no, it sounds very simple, man. Let me tell you, I knew this dude in college. He played clarinet, baritone saxophone, alto saxophone, soprano saxophone, English horn, oboe, bassoon, timpani, and like, if you were asked, you'd be like, "Yo, bro, what do you play?" And he would just go down the list of instruments, but he really couldn't play any of them.
Hmm.
And he left school and was like, just first day out of school, went and taught school, and I believe he's still a band director. And no disrespect or anything like that, but that's through his life experience. That's what he's going to be able to communicate to his
Yeah.
students.
Right. Yeah. I was just having this conversation with a friend yesterday, and it's it's funny, but it's really rare to have a performing musician, teach in a in the classroom setting, like especially like at an actual school. And so for you guys listening, maybe you can think about it like this: what if doctors learned how to do surgery, right? A surgeon, like a heart surgeon, learned how to do open heart surgery from a doctor who never actually performed open heart surgery. That's what that's that's what they do to kids learning music in school. And so
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, is again, like academia has its purpose, and I believe it does have its function, but it's not the ultimate credential in being a musician at all.
right, I don't give a shit about your degree, man. Keep it. That's like, please, I don't give a
Look,
shit.
I have 2 degrees, and I had to actually like dig them out of like a closet somewhere for 10 years after I got both of them to get a job, and it's like the only time I've ever needed it.
They shouldn't even ask you for that shit. They should just be like, play or show me that you can teach. That should be the criteria. Let me watch you teach. Can you teach?
See that's the weird thing, that like the dichotomy that you have as a teaching professional, right? Like on one hand, you need to be a musician, but on the other hand too, you also need to know how to be a teacher. And those 2 skills, I think that's what makes being a teacher of the arts even more difficult or challenging, is that again, you have to understand your art and how the art is being currently practiced in the world, but you also need to know how to work with kids, young adults. You need to understand their emotions. You need to understand how to connect with them. You need to understand how to communicate. And so again, like just because you're a great working artist doesn't mean you're going to be a teacher, and just because you're a teacher doesn't mean you're an artist.
Oh, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. All right, man. We running out of time. So I know you got to go soon, but I want to listen to a few more. And this
Are we
one right
already
here,
out of time? Come on.
well, it's like 8:41. So I know you got another meeting at 8. Well, it's like, or whatever time, wherever you are, man. You in New Orleans, right?
Somewhere, I don't know.
All right. Anyway, y'all, check this one out. Oh.
Welcome to the phone. It's your main man, International Jones. I'ma need you to buckle up your seatbelts and roll the windows all the way down. You know what the phone, sharing is caring, and I can dig that. This band has more flavor than Baskin Robbins. Keep more heads bobbing, doing their jobbing. Sound so big like 2 mountains colliding. Light years ahead, good vibes they spread. Somebody asked me, can the funk stop you from being upset? I say it's water wet. It'll have you smiling like you just got a check. You ain't gotta care, got love everywhere. Take a vote, it'll win every time. This for you, yours, and mine.
Yeah, bro. Max Moran right there for y'all, bro. That's so funky.
Man, that cat is killing.
It's our homeboy Max Moran. I know you interviewed Max.
Bro, man, I've known Max since I was like 12. Man, Max, that's one of those cats that I miss so much. The pandemic has taken Max from me. I call him once a month and I'm like, Max, we haven't talked in so long.
Yeah, Max is a beautiful cat. And y'all check that out. Max Moran and Neo Spectric. It's a great record if you're trying to, get funky in your house, dance around with your kids or your dog or your grandmama, whatever. It's a whole vibe on that one, man.
Oh, Max.
Oh, shoot.
Uh-oh, you've gone plaid.
There we go. I was like, my camera should not be doing it, but all right, I'm back. Don't worry, y'all. I ain't going nowhere. But yeah, man, we're here again. It's our 100th show. And so we decided to switch things up and just kind of me and Greg hang out tonight. But next week we'll be back to our regularly scheduled program. And we appreciate y'all. So right now we just finished listening to Mr. Max Moran. But Greg, I got a question for you, man. So over these last 6 months, what have you learned? What have you learned?
Wow. It's funny. I had someone ask me that the other night. What have I learned? Wow. That's the I don't know if I've actually like figured out what I've learned in the last 6 months. But I think over the last 6 months I have learned how to be appreciative of the experiences that I've had. I think coming out of this COVID situation, there's going to be a pre-COVID life and a post-COVID life.
Yeah.
And I keep looking back on my pre-COVID life with so much gratitude for the opportunity to study music in school, and it was always a dream of mine to play music, to do all the things that I've done. And over the last 10 years or so, I've had the opportunity to start from the ground, like literally the ground, and go as high as I've been. And I think this pandemic has, I think the blessing of the pandemic has given me an opportunity to stop, to reflect, to be grateful for the things that and opportunities that I've had, and also look to the future. I feel like I don't have as much to prove in the future, and I don't mean that in a way that's going to prevent creativity, but I mean that in terms of like a way of being able to love myself more and use love as a driver for my creativity, as opposed to the desire for approval.
Oh wow, that's deep. That's deep.
Yeah, but you know how it is, man. We just, I know you feel the same too. Like, you wanted this shit more than anything else in the world, and we have, I'm not gonna speak for you, but like, I've sacrificed a lot of things to like personal relationships with friends, significant others, my time, my family, all kind of stuff to just chase this dream. Yeah. And I feel so blessed to have this opportunity to reflect. And, for the first time in my life, I kind of feel like I'm there and want to use that position to help other people reach that point. And, just be in love with it.
Yeah. I like that, man. Well, look, y'all, Greg is the man. He getting much love in the comments. I'm saying I gave some good answers too, but I ain't getting no love. I'm not salty or nothing. Nah, man, that was beautiful, man. We could all only hope to get to that place. You know what I mean? With whatever we do, whatever we're a banker, a drummer, a clarinet player. Who would have thought that you could be a professional clarinet player? Come on,
man. Let me tell you, I'm a curse again. I say Elena Dennis in the house here. What's up, Elena?
Hey, what's up?
Man, this is maybe the difference. Pre-COVID, for the last since I was 15, I wanted to prove every single one of those motherfuckers wrong that told me that jazz clarinet wasn't a thing. And let me tell you, I'm gonna get real angry because this was my driving motivation for a long time. Man, yeah. I grew up all my life, motherfuckers telling me that a clarinet's not a jazz instrument. You can't do this, you can't do that, blah blah blah, all this shit. Well, you know what? Fuck you.
Okay.
No, and I'm sorry. I get like really uppity about that, and I think that goes back to the question too. Is like, that fire and that intensity was my motivation for a long time. And post this whole COVID thing, man, I hope to put that in the past and look back at that fire and be like, oh, that was cute.
Now y'all see how Greg went from love to hate. Now he throwing the F-bombs around. See but me, I'm a kumbaya type of guy, like just love everybody.
No, but but again, like, you can't look that the love and hate exist on that same spectrum,
Oh, absolutely. Oh, bro, hey, look, I yeah, I know. I wrote a whole song called "Love and Hate Cannot Coexist," but
I know.
It's a whole vibe, man. Man, speaking of that, I want to listen to maybe one more person before I let you get out of here. and it's going to be Kiana Linnell. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Just as sure as I live, I will love you alone. You belong in my arms, you belong in my home. I don't expect you to be someone else that you're not. All I expect you to give is all that you've got. So move me no mountain, turn me no tide, swim me no ocean, long, deep and wide. Just say that you love me, long, strong, and true. But move me no mountain to prove that you do. Move me no mountain to prove that you do.
Yeah, Kiana. Yo, man, y'all gotta check Kiana, man, whenever y'all in town,
So
or
good,
find out where
yo.
she gonna be, and you need to be there because she's, yo, man, we really had the best of the best on this podcast, and like this, just playing the music just really highlights that. You know what I mean?
Yo, it's totally incredible. And going back to the idea of documentation, right?
Mhm.
We started this too because there was a part of us that we felt our generation of musicians had not been anointed yet or handed the torch per se.
Oh, okay.
In a lot of ways but again, and I think that was our opportunity to step up and create a platform for our generation and younger to have opportunities to teach, to have opportunities to be on a podcast, to talk about their art. And so I'm just so grateful that a lot of these cats, this might be the first or second podcast ever, or their interview. And 10 years from now, they're going to be getting Grammys and stuff. And maybe someone's going to Google them and find Working Artist Project from 2020 or 2021.
Maybe, yeah. I know for me, like one of my key motivations actually came from Will Dellisford. And we were just in conversation and we were talking about how as artists, we don't control our own media. Like we rely on places, especially in the jazz community, we rely on downbeats and these people who aren't necessarily musicians, who don't even know if something is actually good. And if you've ever played a publicist, and you know how the game works, so it's really just kind of pay to play. So we were like, okay, well, why don't we create something where the artists are deciding like, oh, you're dope, because we actually know who's dope and who's not. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of, for me, was one of the bigger motivations as to go along with what Greg said. So yeah, y'all, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us.
Yeah,
on
to
the Working Artists
everyone who's
Project.
watching, thank you so much for hanging out. Mary Evelyn, Elena, we got Shadia in the house too.
My wife, Shadia, what up, babe?
Woo!
Yeah, everybody in here, y'all. So we're gonna get out of here, but we appreciate y'all. This is episode 100. It's monumental. We'll be back next week with the regularly scheduled program. And
say, man, before we go, check it out. We've been doing this nonprofit for 5 years now.
Yep.
5 years. What is the lesson you've learned in 5 years of doing this?
The lesson I've learned from it is that you can create anything if you can imagine it. Because Greg and I created this out of nothing with no money. So when I saw that first year where we had success, I think we raised $3,000 or something to put on a 1 week camp with 10 kids that we were supposed to feed every day. And so we managed to get the space for free. Anyway, we went through a process and it was hard. We had to beg kids to come and beg everybody to let us do a thing that we thought that we just imagined that we can do with no credentials. We didn't even start a company. We were just like, we're going to start a company, but first, this is what we have. Anyway, we pulled it off. So if you can imagine it and you have the drive and the will and you have to be willing to fail over and over again, because God knows we do, and we don't really shy away from it. We just fail, and we fail and pivot.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that you're dreaming about doing, go ahead and just do it, no matter if you ain't got no money or not. It's possible.
The time will never feel right. You just got to do it.
Yeah, you just got to do it. And trust me, man, we've been doing this for 5 years, and every year we have a crisis. We're just like, I don't know, man. Like, is this it? This is the year where we, yeah. So, but I think going forward in this journey, there's some things that we have to do to take ourselves and this program and this nonprofit Second Line Arts Collective to the next level. We have to take some risks and do some things that we've never done before, so we can get some results that we never had. And but we do appreciate all y'all and everybody who's donated and supported us and shared and liked and comment, or like just the other day, Mary Evelyn wrote a message and was like, "Hey man, your link tree is busted." Like that kind of stuff really helps, because it's hard for two people to keep up with like every little detail. So yeah, we appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Yeah, everyone who's been a part of this, from all the instructors to the students to everyone, liking and commenting. Thank you all so much for making this happen, and we truly appreciate the support and the love.
And last but not least, my wife, because Shadia she in here like proofreading everything, helping me with grants and making sure I'm answering questions, and so without her, like really a lot of the stuff that I do, I just wouldn't be able to, because she's my second set of eyes, and she makes things beautiful for me. So yeah, so thank you, babe. Appreciate you.
Man, that's beautiful. And I'm gonna throw a thank you to Shadia also for keeping Darrian together.
God does, man. But yeah, y'all. So man, like we always say, we're coming to an end, Greg. Hey man, Greg, where can the people connect with you at?
Yo, man, first of all, if you haven't done it already, please follow us on Second Line Arts on Instagram. I think the handle's at Second Line Arts. We have our website, secondlinearts.org, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. You can follow me at Gregory Agid, Gregory Agid. And that's it. It's pretty easy to find.
Yeah, absolutely. So follow us. Oh, you can go to our secondlinearts.org and also donate if you believe in what we're doing. And drop us a line. Let us know what's up. So we'll catch y'all later.
Y'all have a wonderful night. Thank you.